Dante Alighieri is the bedrock of Western literature, a poet who gave voice to the human condition with unflinching honesty and beauty. His life was a maelstrom of politics, passion, and exile, forging a writer who could craft hellish landscapes and heavenly vistas with equal precision. Dante's story is one you need to hear, because it's a testament to the power of art to transcend suffering and speak truth to eternity. Dante's early life was marked by the tumultuous politics of Florence, where he was born in 1265. His family, though not wealthy, was part of the lesser nobility, and this standing would later influence his writings on class and social hierarchy. As a child, Dante would have witnessed the fierce rivalries between the city's powerful families, an experience that likely shaped his understanding of conflict and loyalty. His mother, Bella, died when he was just a boy, leaving his father, Alighieri, to raise him and his brother alone. The young Dante received a traditional education, studying classical Latin authors like Cicero and Virgil, whose works would later become the foundation for his own masterpiece, the Divine Comedy. He also developed a deep love for poetry, particularly the works of Guido Cavalcanti and Brunetto Latini, who would become his mentors and friends. These relationships were crucial in shaping Dante's literary style and philosophical outlook. As he grew older, Dante became increasingly involved in Florence's political scene, joining the White Guelphs, a faction opposed to the ruling Black Guelphs. This affiliation would eventually lead to his exile from the city, an event that would profoundly impact his writing. But during this period, Dante also met the woman who would become his muse, Beatrice Portinari. Their encounter, though brief, left an indelible mark on Dante's heart and imagination, inspiring some of the most beautiful and enduring poetry in the Western canon. Dante's educational journey took him to the University of Bologna, where he studied philosophy and theology, laying the groundwork for his future explorations of morality, sin, and redemption. His time at the university also exposed him to the works of Aristotle and Thomas Aquinas, whose ideas on ethics and human nature would influence his own writings on these subjects. Dante's time at the University of Bologna was a crucible for his thoughts on morality and sin, shaping the very foundations of the Divine Comedy. He delved deep into the works of Aristotle and Thomas Aquinas, grappling with the intricacies of human nature and the consequences of our actions. This intellectual curiosity, coupled with his own experiences of love, loss, and exile, would eventually forge a writer capable of crafting some of literature's most enduring and haunting landscapes. As he navigated the complex web of Florentine politics, Dante found himself increasingly at odds with the ruling powers. His affiliation with the White Guelphs, though born of a desire for reform and justice, ultimately led to his exile from the city in 1302. This banishment, imposed by the Black Guelphs, would prove a turning point in Dante's life, forcing him to confront the darker aspects of human nature and the depths of his own suffering. It was during this period of exile that Dante began working on the Divine Comedy, pouring his heart and soul into the epic poem. He drew upon his knowledge of classical mythology, Christian theology, and personal experience, weaving a narrative that would take readers on a journey through the very depths of hell, the struggles of purgatory, and ultimately, the radiant beauty of paradise. The character of Dante himself becomes the everyman, navigating these realms with a mix of trepidation, wonder, and unwavering determination. The writing of the Divine Comedy was not without its challenges, however. Dante faced criticism from his contemporaries, who saw his use of the vernacular Italian as a radical departure from the traditional Latin. Yet, it was precisely this choice that allowed him to tap into the hearts and minds of his audience, speaking to them in a language that was both familiar and expressive. This tension between tradition and innovation would become a hallmark of Dante's work, as he sought to push the boundaries of what was possible in literature. Dante's exile from Florence proved to be a crucible for his writing, as he navigated the complexities of Italian politics and grappled with the consequences of his own actions. He spent time in Verona under the patronage of Bartolomeo della Scala, where he began to draft the Divine Comedy in earnest. This period of exile allowed him to reflect on his past, to reconsider his relationships and alliances, and to distill his thoughts on morality, sin, and redemption. As he worked on the Divine Comedy, Dante drew upon a wide range of sources, from classical mythology to Christian theology, weaving together a narrative that was both deeply personal and universally relatable. He poured his heart and soul into the poem, crafting characters like Virgil, Beatrice, and Lucifer with precision and nuance. The result was a work that was at once a deeply felt exploration of the human condition and a scathing critique of the social and political ills of his time. Dante's use of the vernacular Italian, rather than Latin, was a deliberate choice, one that allowed him to speak directly to his audience and to tap into their hopes, fears, and desires. This decision was not without controversy, however, as some of his contemporaries saw it as a radical departure from tradition. Yet, it was precisely this willingness to innovate, to push the boundaries of what was possible in literature, that helped to establish Dante as one of the greatest writers of his time. Through the Divine Comedy, Dante explored themes that were both timeless and timely, from the nature of sin and redemption to the corrupting influence of power and the importance of moral accountability. He wrote about the human condition with unflinching honesty, revealing the depths of his own suffering and the complexity of his own emotions. The result was a work that was at once deeply personal and universally relatable, one that continues to resonate with readers to this day. As Dante worked on the Divine Comedy, he was also engaged in a broader literary and intellectual conversation, one that involved some of the most prominent writers and thinkers of his time. He corresponded with poets like Guido Cavalcanti and Cino da Pistoia, exchanging ideas and critiques and engaging in a lively debate about the role of literature in society. Dante's time in Verona under the patronage of Bartolomeo della Scala proved to be a pivotal period in his life, allowing him to focus on his writing and navigate the complexities of Italian politics. It was during this time that he began to draft the Divine Comedy in earnest, pouring his heart and soul into the epic poem. The city's vibrant cultural scene and the patronage of Della Scala provided Dante with the support and stimulation he needed to push the boundaries of his art. He spent countless hours studying the works of Virgil, Aristotle, and Thomas Aquinas, among others, seeking to understand the intricacies of human nature and the mysteries of the universe. This rigorous intellectual curiosity would become a hallmark of his work, as he sought to explore the deepest questions of existence and the human condition. Dante's relationships with his contemporaries played a significant role in shaping his writing and his place within the literary tradition. His friendships with poets like Guido Cavalcanti and Cino da Pistoia were particularly important, as they provided him with a sense of community and intellectual stimulation. The three men would often engage in lively debates about literature, philosophy, and politics, pushing each other to think more deeply and write more boldly. Despite the support of his friends and patrons, Dante's work was not without controversy. His use of the vernacular Italian rather than Latin was seen as a radical departure from tradition by some of his contemporaries. They argued that it was a lesser language, unsuitable for serious literary works, and that Dante's decision to write in Italian would limit the reach and impact of his poetry. However, Dante remained convinced that the vernacular was the key to unlocking the hearts and minds of his audience, and he continued to write in Italian with passion and conviction. The historical context in which Dante wrote the Divine Comedy was one of great upheaval and transformation. The city-states of Italy were locked in a struggle for power and dominance, and the Catholic Church was facing challenges to its authority from within and without. It was a time of great uncertainty and change, and Dante's work reflects this sense of tumult and disorder. Through his writing, he sought to make sense of the world around him, to explore the deeper meanings and significance of the events that were shaping Italy and Europe. As Dante delved deeper into the Divine Comedy, he began to explore themes that would become central to his work: the nature of sin and redemption, the corrupting influence of power, and the importance of moral accountability. The result was a work that was at once deeply personal and universally relatable, one that would continue to resonate with readers for centuries to come. Through his journey, Dante explores the very fabric of human nature, revealing the darkest aspects of ourselves and the highest aspirations of our souls. It is a testament to his genius as a writer that he was able to craft a work that is both a deeply felt exploration of the human condition and a scathing critique of the social and political ills of his time. Through his work, Dante left an indelible mark on literature, philosophy, and art, continuing to inspire generations with its profound insights into the human condition. As he so eloquently wrote, "In the middle of the journey of our life, I found myself within a forest dark," a phrase that encapsulates the universal search for meaning and purpose that defines us all. Dante's legacy is a testament to the power of art to transcend time, to capture the essence of our shared experience, and to illuminate the path forward, even in the darkest of times. Like this episode if it hit true. Share it if you respect honest talk about authors. Subscribe because we'll do this again. This is Ernest, signing off.